Hey yo, back with another video. Real quick before we get into the video, this might be about a minute or a little bit over a minute. So if you don't care, you can go ahead and skip. But for the people that do forget, please like it if you do like it after the end of the video, of course. And also I want y'all to answer a question for me. What makes you click off of my videos, right? I'm not talking about my supporters per se. I'm just talking about anyone. It could be anything. It could just be the videos are boring. Too many ads interrupt the videos, even though YouTube does break them up, as far as I'm concerned. We could talk about not being engaging. You don't like a format or something to that effect. All right, so y'all let me know what I can do to make y'all want to watch longer and stay longer. And also, real quick, if y'all do like content and want more content in a more reasonable manner, please support me by going down in the link below and donating wherever: Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs, YouTube if you need to, but they do take like a 30% of that. So, do what you got to do, and any and all amounts are greatly appreciated. And if we get it where a lot of people are, donating and helping out like that, we're gonna start doing like giveaways and that type of stuff. Just so you know that I'm not just like malicious with it, where I'm like, yeah, money, and like stuff like that. Okay, but enough with that. Let's get into this video. So this is gonna be part two of what if Deku was black, right? This video didn't get a whole bunch of views, part one at the time of recording, but I did have a lot of watch time and people interacted with it pretty nicely. So we pretty much left off where Deku and his whole crew pretty much got eviscerated by AKA Drip Lord, or as some people call him, Drip Daddy. Okay. So now what ended up happening was, after Deku waking up and booted him back, we got to take into account he's still 7, by the way. DK came back into the picture and he was there, and Deku was furious. He was like, "All right, here we go." And Deku was pretty much like, "Yo, what the fuck, man? Where the fuck was you, dog? You're always leaving, and anytime you leave, some shit always pops off." And before Deku could finish saying anything, DK hit him with a sharp roundhouse kick to the noggin, but he attempted to. Deku weaved it and immediately pulled out the blicky and just pointed it at DK's chin. He said, "I will unload this whole clip if you don't start explaining yourself." DK looking down at Deku, saying, "Go ahead. If you really think you can shoot me and kill me, please try." Deku unleashes the whole load, blowing DK's noggin back in two. Blood gushing out everywhere. This dude down on the ground, looking dead as all outdoors. Deku, "I didn't even want to do it, OG, but I had to." And he's like, see. And then a few moments later, not even like less than 5 seconds, DK gets back up while his head's regenerating. "Yeah, do you feel better now?" Deku, immensely surprised. Now, just for a side note, there is a subgroup. Like, this was just one of the groups. Like, DK has his own faction, okay? He's not part of the Big Four or the gangsters of the directions. There's one for the South, West, East, and North. Um, so don't quote me on this part, but for the North, it's the person we saw, the Drip Lord, when they were trying to destroy this dude's factory of narcotics and trying to, basically hurt his business, but they did get folded maliciously. So that didn't work out. And there's three others, individuals that we have not got into yet. So that's that's pretty cool, okay? Now after that, Deku and DK went out to do some training, and as DK and Deku go out to do like their whole little training and stuff, Deku's like, "Bro, OG." And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not like, trying to hype myself up, because obviously DK's me. But I'm doing this is in the sense of, if they were in the hood situation, if they obviously were in like a ghetto kind of like environment. All right, so just keep that in mind. Don't get me wrong, I don't know much about it, but I do have some knowledge on it, so I'm just keeping it in line with that. And as far as I'm aware of, if you make it past 21 or somewhere around that point, basically, if you pretty old, like 30 or something, for the hood, niggas be getting rolled up, especially Chicago and stuff. If you make it past a certain point, you pretty old, dog, because the life expectancy over there isn't really that high. Kids be getting rolled up and shit, so keep it moving. All right. So he's like, all right, OG, what we about to do today? He's like, shit, we gonna work on your hand to hand. He's like, shit, hand to hand. I got my blickies with me. What you mean? Now, don't get me wrong. This Deku does know how to fight. Okay. He's like, no, no, no. What if your quirk doesn't work? Now, don't get me wrong. Your quirk Ghetto is a very useful. It has many utilities because you're basically okay. Originally, let's have a side note here. Originally, Deku's quirk would have been if he was in a normal environment, he would have been able to have or immediately gain tools to help him in the environment that he's in. So if he's in a water environment, right, he would be able to get circles, or he might be able to, it's more about the environment, not his body. But if he had the quirk awakening, air quote, he would be able to in theory adapt himself to the environment, which is a sub ability of his quirk, but not one of the abilities that are profound. All right. So with that being said, it since he's in the ghetto, his quirk is called Ghetto or the Ghetto. Due to the simple fact is, most of the time when people are in the ghetto, they don't think they're getting out. So he wouldn't need to adapt or do anything else because this is his only environment. This is why his quirk inherent works a certain way. And since he's young, his quirk also helped him adapt and gain knowledge. And basically, he was able to mature a lot faster than the average peer. And also realizing if you don't have a strap, you don't have a gun with you, if you don't have a bat, if you don't have that towel to fight somebody, if you don't have the brass knuckles, you're going to look goofy. So it allows him to summon weapons accordingly. Now, the weapons won't inherently be as strong as a normal gun, but let's just put it in a point of perspective. And let's say that it's like 50% less than what a normal gun is. It's still a gun at the end of the day. It's still gonna do some solid damage. You might need to put some more shots into it, or you might need to shoot a little better, or and also it does work on time based, kind of similar like another What If, but not as much. It's more about the more energy he puts into it, the stronger he can be. But don't get me wrong, if he sits down, which he doesn't know meditation yet, but if he sits down and meditate and properly sorts a weapon and knows a weapon inside and out, which he does with his signature dual Glocks or dual Glock style, he then thus can do some shit like that. Okay. So he can be really strong without being inherently broken. Okay. Now let's get back to their training and stuff, right? So with them doing this training and with them doing all this, DK is showing Deku like, hey, this is how you throw hands. Like they spend, we could say, they spent about a good, he's 7, they spent about a good 3 years. So now Deku's a solid 10. He's got a decent physique. They've been through some missions and stuff. They've been doing some minor things or whatever. And now it's the point in time where he's like, all right, it's time for you to be one of the higher ups in the crew. Like, some stronger peoples. So they go out and they go do their thing. And then what happens is they're driving there. Deku's driving because DK's like, I'm not doing none of that. Because he could literally just fly. He could get there a lot faster than driving, but you want to make sure this dude don't have a whippy whip. And he's like, all right, make a left here, make a turn here. Uh-oh. And one of DK's quirks activate. It's known as precognition. It allows him to see, at base level, allows him to see events either 5 seconds before it happens, or depending on how he has it activated, he's able to see a good chunk of time before it happens. So he's like, okay, we're about to get ambushed. Deku, I'd advise you to pull out one of your blickies, get ready, and I'm going to need you to shoot to your left. Deku, kind of knowing what's going on, but not really, because, there was no need for him to use this particular ability, so he just didn't bother. So, yeah. Deku just goes with the flow. He's like, don't even let the window down. On my mark, you shoot. 3, 2, 1. Swerve the car and shoot. And Deku unloads a fury of hot lead at the the left side on the driver's side, the side he's on, and immediately takes down 3 people in the car that was about to shoot him up. Meanwhile, DK hops out of the car, gets on top of it, pulls out a bullet stab, apparently out of thin air, and then jumps on a car, and basically it's on some GTA Saints Row kind of S-like flow, where 3 cars were just taken out immediately, and then he gets back on top of the original car to begin with. after that, they make it to where they're at. So now they're at a location, but they had to make a detour, and there's a whole bunch of cargoes and stuff like that. Because they were gonna use this to get somewhere, but they end up getting ambushed. All these people were about to like pretty much try to attack these dudes, and he's like, crack his net. All right, Deku, you ready? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't advise you to pull out more than one gun at a time here. He said, oh yeah, by the way, hey, hopefully you've been working on that project we've been talking about. He's like, yeah, I have. What about it? Go ahead and use it. He's like, wait, but wouldn't that hurt you? Hey, don't worry about me. Deku's like, all right. He says it, hits the ground, and says ghetto. And immediately machine guns pop out of the ground and just start blasting in the proximity. They're not high quality, but the bullets do hit hella hard. They took out most of the goons. And as they're running, or whatever, DK and Deku, I'm just going to say the crew, as the crew's running through or whatever, they're like bopping people, DK respectively, using his bow staff and katana accordingly. And then Deku's just shooting, bow, 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 machine gun, bow, 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 machine gun, shotgun, boop, 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 boom, 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 LMG. And then eventually he's like getting kind of low in energy, so he starts duking it. And it's kind of like his fighting style is more of a brawler-esque kind of like individual. So he's like, headbutt, knee to the face, weave. And not everyone has a gun because guns are somewhat expensive and not super easy to get. So after they get done with that, they end up meeting one of the other kings of directions. We're gonna say they meet West. They're gonna meet West. All right, so it's gonna be a female, not a dude, right? And if any of y'all played Apex, y'all might know where I'm about to go with this because the female has appearance similar to Loba, okay? And basically, immediately the second they come into the surrounding area, Loba comes down looking at these dudes and say, hello, boys, with, you know, a Latino-like accent. Latina, not Latino, Latina, accent. She's like, hello, boys. Don't tell me y'all are trying to damage my goods. And looking around, there's a whole bunch of goods damaged, and DK realizes this is a problem, so him and Loba immediately start duking it out like some gods they are. They good hands, commit. Weave, bobbing, weave. And he's like, all right, look, and he's saying, DK saying all this during the fight. It's like, how are you fighting as he's weaving for his dear life? How are you fighting with 6-inch heels on? And she like stops the kick. He's like, it's simple. Flicking her hair back, it's simple. When it comes to fighting, there's a certain elegance to it. And then immediately Deku pops up right behind her, and against DK's instructions, he pulls out 2 blickies. He shoots her, but he misses a good chunk, since if he was holding one, he wouldn't have missed. And DK said, damn it, that was the trump card. Loba turns around, grabs his left wrist, twists it. But when she twists the whole arm, and then she eventually says, still, and then rips the whole arm off. And then Deku's down on the ground, groveling and writhing and playing while he's bleeding out maliciously. And then she throws the hand away, grabs the gun, and says, enhance. And she says, return. And then immediately starts shooting the hell out of DK, just getting ate up with lead. He's like, now he's on the ground, leaking, looking goofy. And Loba's like, let me see what you're working with. And then she goes in for a kiss, but before Loba's able to do that, DK immediately says, all right, I've had enough. Shock. Bursts into a mad amount of field of lightning, and just gets up and be like, all right, baby girl. His wound's starting to heal. He's like, all right. Look. DK starts stretching accordingly while the lightning's still surrounding you. We can continue this. You can die, or you can walk away. She's like, oh, as she backs up doing a backflip, pulls out her special staff. But it's like a specialized made bow staff. It has more uses than one. It's almost like a cane with like a lion on the helm of it. And she's like, oh, whatever could you mean? He's like, don't think because you're all sparkly and shocking now that you're gonna scare me. I've faced my nightmares and some. And Deku, I mean not Deku, well Deku's on the verge of passing out. And then DK's like, alright. I wanted to save this move for that bitch nigga named Drip Lord, but I guess I can use it on you. Kieran. Immediately, a big thunder shock of lightning comes out of nowhere and shoots up to the sky. All the electricity that was on DK is immediately gone. And then for a brief moment, Deku, Loba, DK, and any other witnesses in the surrounding area just felt an odd sense of danger, fear, and hatred. And then before anyone could say anything, Kid, he looks at Loba and says, I gave you a chance, baby girl. You should have taken it. Now, be gone with the thunder. Clap. And then, that's where we're going to end off this video. I hope you like, sub, and do all that goody stuff. If you really do like the content that I be hitting y'all boys with, you already know what to do. Go down in the description. It doesn't matter if it's a penny, a dollar, a nickel, a cent. It doesn't matter. And if you can't do that, watch the ads all the way through. Also, tell me what I can do to help you want to watch these videos a little more. Talk to your boy, and I will catch you later.